Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a very long, long time, and I've been all over the planet. Got stories to tell, got a little bit of a disaster I got to relay to you. Oh my God, what a month. I just want to just go to bed and pull the covers over my head. Anyway, I'm back. Glad to be back. Just hasn't been a whole lot to talk about, but we do need to get caught up. So we're going to do our standard crypto therapy. We're going to talk a little bit about what I see coming from the markets, what's been going on, and the usual kind of banner that goes on here. So if you can pardon me for just a couple minutes, we're going to have some radio silence. I'm going to go ahead and alert the usual suspects, let them know I'm online, and we will be back here live in just a couple of seconds. So hang with me. While I'm waiting here, guys, while I'm letting everybody know that I'm online, could you guys do me a favor if you can? When you're killing a little bit of time, thank you very much for keeping the chat busy. Share this link out with everybody, your groups, your telegrams, whatnot. Let them know so we can kind of get a little bit of a crew in here. It's always nice to be able to play to a larger audience. So bear with me continuing. I gotta let Facebook know, Twitter know, Discord know. So I'm one man shop here. So if you guys are new with me here, just this is usually the way we do things. So a little bit of radio silence as we get started, and we'll get started here in about a couple minutes. If you guys are in the chat here, I see we got 13 people so far. Go ahead and please leave me a comment. Let me know that you're in so I know how many people I'm talking to. I'm still getting things set up here. We'll be about 30 seconds more and we should be good to go. Okay, as you can tell by that sound, you know I got my Diet Pepsi and I'm good to go. So how's everybody going tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? It's been a long, long time. For those of you that are new with us, thank you very much for joining us. I'm doing a little additional publicity. I'm putting the word out to some nooks and crannies I don't normally publicize to. So thank you very much for joining us. My name is Red Baron. I am from fibicharts.com, FIBI charts.com. You can see that right across the top of here. That's where we get our AI powered charts and all of our system. If you'd like to know more about that, go ahead and join it. And you can do that. And we're going to be talking a little bit about a special little thing I've got for every single one of you. It's something I've decided to do because there's just way too many lurkers in the chats. There's just way too many lurkers in my Discord. So I want to get people involved. And so for that, we're going to be having something that's going to be available to all of you. Every single one of our charts are always available on fibicharts.com. However, for free for the first time ever, I'm going to be making the Bitcoin chart available, loaded with ISIS and everything else. For those of you that don't know what ISIS or Anubis is, we'll be talking about that later in subsequent videos. And of course, you can always go back in my chat history and learn a little bit more about our AI-powered systems that make us a little unique compared to everything else that's out there. If you'd like to get into the chats, if you'd like to get into the stuff that I do on Discord here, it's been a while since I've done any kind of business as far as talking about this. So this is our Discord. And you can join that obviously anytime you'd like to. The unfairadvantage.chat, that's our Discord. Everybody's free and welcome to get in here at the free level. However, we do have higher levels. We have gold, we have platinum, we have platinum pro, and we have the diamond for the high rollers. So if you want to get into those, you can do that. If you want to get in the VIP level, has its own chat, and VIP platinum has its chat plus gold. So the ultimately what most people do is they kind of take a little bit of a trial at bronze or silver, but when they want to get involved in the deeper chat with the daily calls, they get in on gold and then step up if they're a bit of a high roller. So usually the sweet spot is usually platinum where everybody goes. And if you're a real ultimate high roller and you want to be an active trader, you can use the system that I use, which is Platinum Pro, which is what you're looking at here on screen. All right, so thank you very much for that. Now let me backtrack one more thing because I ran right past that. What we're going to be doing here, let's go ahead and just walk you through that real quick. We're going to be giving away a membership for fibicharts.com that you have free access to Bitcoin. To the Bitcoin chart. Let's go ahead and do that. So just basically just go to pricing, and this is not applicable to you guys who have had past memberships because if you guys are already subscribed, currently subscribed, there's no reason for you to do this because you already have Bitcoin. So don't join this because it's going to end up causing technical problems on the back end with the website. However, if you are not a current subscriber, you just simply do what I'm about to show you. If you have been a past subscriber but would like to at least get the Bitcoin chart, you just log in with your old ID and then go ahead and do what I'm about to do here. So what you do is you go to fibicharts.com, FIBIcharts.com, go where it says pricing, hit pricing, and I made it pretty easy for you to find. And this is all thanks to Chase. So everybody thanks to him. I got a little bit of a special little announcement on Chase as well. He just made staff sergeant in the Air Force, so I'm quite proud of him. So he's just moving up through the ranks. He's an indispensable member, as you probably will imagine here. Pardon me, Thailand's internet is just woefully bad here, so pardon me if we got a little bit of a interruption in the flow of my conversation here. Give me just a minute. I don't know what's going on here. It's been like this. This has been my month. I have quite a story for you here as far as what's been going on for the last months. Is just more par for the course. It just never ends. All right. Well, so much for that. Okay. So what we're going to do, this is not our website. I'm in Thailand. I'm back in Thailand. I'm in Pattaya, Thailand right now. So it's probably the internet provider here that's doing it. So hopefully we will not have problems with the charts here. So give me just a second here and let me get this all set up. We'll revisit that. But basically you guys can figure it out. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just go to they're doing some construction outside of my window here if you hear jackhammering, so pardon me. Just basically just go to where it says subscribe and go to pricing. The very first thing that drops down will be free Bitcoin. Just go ahead and join that. And then you can get on in. And once you do that, you will want to go to the unfairadvantage.chat and, of course, obviously be a part of the community that we do. All right, so that wasn't exactly a very auspicious beginning to our video here, but that's the way things usually go for me. All right, so while we're killing a little bit of time waiting for people to come in, it usually takes about 20, 30 minutes for people to kind of get online and figure out that I'm live and get notice and stuff like that. Tell you a little bit of a story about my month here while we kill a little bit of a time. So we got about 20 minutes or so here. I'm going to be doing kind of long form. I'll probably run a few hours, just depends. If you guys are new to live stream, never done one of my live stream, I am usually notorious for doing 13, 14-hour live streams. We may get back to that at some point in time, but I just don't have it in me right now. So we'll probably be maybe about 2-3 hours tops on this. We're going to go through everything. I want to kind of take and kind of clear the palette and just kind of see what's going on with the cryptos in general, kind of give you my thoughts on what's been going on in the world. So it's just absolutely crazy right now. Are you guys hearing me okay right now? Because I've turned my volume down a little bit. My mic is real super hypersensitive, so I want to make sure. Yeah, I was gonna say let me crank it up just a little bit. That better? This is my original setting here. Is that a little bit better? Testing, testing. I probably should have asked on that just before I got. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I turn it down when I'm using another site. It just blares, so I have to kind of adjust. So I forget. So I'm not using my SLR mic or my XLR mic anymore because it's just garbage. So it just my walk around headphones tend to work a lot better. So as long as I'm not breathing in your ear, that's cool. So let me tell you about my month. God. All right, so let me bring everybody up to speed who doesn't know me and know me what I do in to make myself miserable in my spare time. I have a foundation called the Millstone Project, and what we do is we rescue orphans, abandoned children, and whatnot. And this is something I fund. I'm not asking for anybody to contribute. This is just something that I do. That's my calling in life, and and several people who are good long-term friends of mine have joined us. And so what our goal is, it's been a while since I talked about this here while I kill time waiting for people to show up. I'll tell you the start of this. And so what we do is we are now in 13 countries. I came over to Thailand to start another foundation school. And what we do is something completely different from anything you've probably ever seen. My vision is to raise tomorrow's leaders. So it's one thing to take care of a child and then slap them on the butt and go, okay, go out in the cruel world and whatever. So I raise uber smart children, and I believe that there's a certain way that you can raise a child to make them tomorrow's leaders. And my sons are excellent examples of that, if I do say so myself. And it's because of the way that I raise them. It's because that I expect more from them, therefore I get more from them. And they've been exposed to the best of the best, not financially, just basically I don't let them pollute their mind with stupid stuff and get sucked. They are in the world, but they are not of the world, is the way that we say that. And so, we had just another one that just came in just recently that was abandoned. We found in an alley in Thailand. It was abandoned by a very young mother, and so this child has been taken and brought into our foundation. And so what we're going to do for her is we're going to raise her all the way to college age. We're going to pay for everything, her clothes, her food, her housing, whatever. She will need for nothing until she turns 21 years old. And during that time, she will be educated at a premium Western education, the old school Western education. I have had an amazing and really shitty month. Let me tell you what. several sub stories. I want to kind of keep this down the middle, and I'll explain this, and I'll tell the sub stories later. We hired on 5 brand new Western teachers who have just had it with the Western Western schools. You know, when you're a teacher, you want to be a teacher. And I met a gal on the airplane and talked to her, 27 years old, and she goes, "I love being a teacher, but I can't do it in the Western world, you know." And the universe puts me just where I need to be. And so I hired her and her 4 friends who just recently quit to go sell software for Oracle or something else. And they really want to be a teacher. And so I'm about to change their life and about to change the lives of the children that they touch. And so I've got people who come in and basically surrender their lives to raise these kids, you know, and it's amazing. We bring in tomorrow's leaders. Is basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a foundation. Or I've created a foundation that will move the world, that will change the world. So the people that we put out into society are going to be tomorrow's leaders. So okay, so having told the cool part of that story, let me tell you the crap that I have to go through to get this done. All right, so I got about 36 core people and about 45 total people in my organization, and all of them work pretty much volunteer and whatnot. I pay a few of them, but so I've got my right hand man Bob. You guys have learned about Bob and my little space trip that I took. That's going to be related to this story when I arrived in Thailand. If you guys have never heard this story, go back and listen to my little Thailand horror story. It kind of ties to this. So we had, going back in Kenya, there's going to be lots of ties backs to last couple of videos that I've done. I talked about how Kenya's president came out and told the Kenyan citizens to, you know, dump the U.S. dollar, and he was not being at all cute about it when he said it. He said, "Get rid of it. Or your money's not going to be worth shit," basically. And you know, when that guy talks, Kenyan people do not BS. We've got 2 foundations, I think 3 actually, 3 foundational places, 3 foundation schools in Kenya. So I've got a pretty large footprint in Kenya, 2 in Nairobi and 1 in Mombasa. And so there was some concern that I wasn't going to be able to pay my people, you know, their operational costs and whatnot. And crypto's not quite to the point where it's going to be able to just, you know, let me send you some Bitcoin or some, you know, whatever, and cash that out and go ahead and pay the bills. Can't work. Still got to be able to move bank money around and whatnot. And what ended up happening is it got to the point where, you know, now banks are starting to reject money transfers over there. And I thought, oh God, no, I'm going to have to do. So I loaded up a pocket full of gold, literally pocket full of gold. And so we had to fly. So my girlfriend, Mei Li, who is half Japanese and half Thai, and she's just an absolute sweetheart and just an absolute pure beauty. I mean, you know, picture the most beautiful Thai girl you've ever seen. That's Mei Li. She's absolutely stunning, and she's a rep for a active clothing company, whatever. And so she's one of those gals that you see on Instagram and whatnot. And so she went with me, my right hand man Bob, and 2 of my other employees who are very nice guys, not doing anything wrong. You know, certainly nothing that I had to worry about. So the group of us, we're going to go to Kenya and try and get this straightened out and just kind of, you know, help out and whatnot. So we were going to go. The plan was we were going to go from and then I had to go to Cuba. So it's just been a whirlwind of crap. And so we were going to go from Thailand to Beijing Airport. From Beijing Airport, fly over to land in Nairobi, and then, you know, do what we needed to do. Well, all's great on paper until things really start to happen. And what ended up happening was, it just happened so fast I kind of lost track of the timeline. But effectively, what ended up happening is Mei Li went through, Bob went through, and my guys went through a different line, and they got held up. That's part 2 of this story. So Bob and the 2 other guys went through the other line. Mei Li and I went through the first line. Mei Li got ahead of me, and I had everything in my backpack on my back. And so she went through, and she's standing at the far end of the conveyor belt. I get through, and of course immediately, hey, dude's got a pocket full of gold. Let's have a little chat with him. So they sideline me. She's standing there at the end of the conveyor belt, and she signals to me that What happened? Discord cleared its content. Did I just miss something? Sorry to hold on just a second, guys. I got to check something here real quick. Sorry, I don't normally have this up while I'm running. Yeah, whatever it is going on for you, Andrew, I think that might be you. All right, so anyway, let me get back and kind of have to watch chat while I'm talking. So anyway, she goes through and she's standing there, standing there, standing there, and so she yells to me, "I'm gonna go get something to drink," not worried about me not getting through whatever. Meanwhile, I'm not seeing what's going over on the other conveyor belt with my guys. I don't know where Bob fell in the whole thing, but my two guys, next thing I know, every goddamn uniformed officer in the whole joint is conveyed over there at the other conveyor belt. I'm not thinking anything of it. Meanwhile, they take me off to the side and they're asking, what are you doing with a pocket full of gold? And I had, I don't know, probably about 25 gold coins, gold 1 ounce coins in my pocket. It takes some money to run an organization. So I had about that. I had that. Yeah, Andrew, we'll actually talk about that because that is part of this story, as a matter of fact. I'm a little concerned. I got a lot to get off my chest, guys. So while we're waiting for people here, just bear with me. I'm just getting through stories, waiting for people to show up. I see our viewers are up to 32 now. So anyway, I'll get on with the story here. So what ends up happening is ding dong, flight starts to take off. She's already down the jetway. She doesn't think anything about it. She gets on the airplane. And they take and close the doors. I'm still being held because of the gold, because they're asking me questions, and I missed my flight. She ends up locked in the plane, and off to Nairobi she goes by herself with no ID, no money because it's in my backpack and in my wallet because we went through the conveyor at the same time. Went through everything. She had no money whatsoever. And no money, no ID, no nothing. No phone because it was in my backpack. And so she ends up in Nairobi. And so I'm like, oh, shit. So no way to get a hold of her, no way to do anything. So meanwhile, what's going on over at the other conveyor belt is apparently, now I'm deferring back to an earlier story in my adventures in Thailand with getting some local medicine, which will put you on another planet. It's legal there, but evidently not in Beijing. I don't want to say what that is. It's a very powerful narcotic, but it is legal over the counter in Thailand. So, everything was above board. Both my boys had it in their pocket because they needed it because one's got severe arthritis and another one's got basically a broken leg right now. They were taking that stuff, and they got flagged by the drug dogs, and off to third world or off to China prison they go. So right now we are currently trying to get them out of a Beijing prison for drug trafficking, and I'm given to believe that they've got 3-4 pills in their pocket, and apparently that constitutes drug trafficking. So that I'll update on that, but I'll tell you what, trying to hire a lawyer in China, good luck with that. I can tell you a whole story about that. I mean, it's just an absolute shit show. The minute they find out you're American, I mean, the price of everything quadruples. It's just absolutely nuts. Bob got through, but he ended up staying back to deal with this in Beijing. So he's on the ground there. So meanwhile, my poor little homeless girl is stuck in the Nairobi airport. I did not get a flight through there. Basically, I'd missed everything. I didn't have my credit cards organized, so I had to basically fly back to Thailand to get my life back in order and figure out what the fuck was going on. And still having no contact with her, all of a sudden I get an email about 27 hours into this ordeal that she's like, I have no money. I'm like, yes, honey, I know you don't have any money. I had no way. She was borrowing phones and money from people. And she doesn't, she barely speaks English. She speaks English fairly well enough, but not, it's one person who speaks English not as a native language to another person who just speaks English. Swahili to Thai is not exactly, it's kind of like trying to change an altcoin through Ethereum. It's kind of like, you can do it, but there's a cost to it. And so it's very applicable. And so the gist of that is, I could tell you a very long, funny story about it. Funny to me, not funny to her. But the gist of it is she ended up spending about roughly 4 days living out of a vending machine, eating lemon cookies and warm ginger ale out of the goodness of the hearts of the Nairobi people. So, God, she was not happy. So I had to effectively go from Beijing. I had to go from Thailand to Beijing, Beijing back to Thailand, get another ticket for two people, go back through Beijing, go to Thailand, rescue her, get all the paperwork, do the stuff we had to do there, and send her back to Thailand. Meanwhile, to kind of put a little cap on this story, I get a call from the 21 saying you need to go to Cuba right now. I go, why is that? He said, just don't ask questions. You need to go right now. Well, Grandmama, again, you have to defer to some past stories if you're new with us. Grandmama, who is a very, very powerful psychic and highly prized and eyeballed by the drug lord kingpins of the Mediterranean because of her abilities, tried to kidnap her. And so the 21 group said, get her the F out of there right now. And so I had to go from back again, go to Cuba immediately. So I was pretty much my air miles are insane, folks. Let me tell you what. I mean, really, realistically, I could probably fly around the globe about 100 times at this point in time on my free miles. But I had to go in there and pick her up, and there was a whole series of stuff that happened like that. Got her deposited in New York, and then we had a whole thing with her bringing in stuff. I might as well just include this while I'm waiting. I'll put a cap on this, and we'll get on to the crypto for the night. So this is I have to bring everybody up to speed. So Grandmama is a high priestess in Santeria. For those folks that do not know who she is the grandmother of my dearly departed girlfriend who passed away of clot shot COVID. And so she's a high priestess in Santeria, which means, the magic chicken bones that are real, folks. And so she's got all of those things that you see in kind of an Afro-Cuban culture religion. And, that's chicken blood, that's chicken bones, that's this, that, and the other things, some powders, and a little of this, a little of that. None of it normal to a TSA officer in JFK Airport in New York, to say the least. And so we had a little to do there where basically she put a curse on the TSA officers that absconded with her stuff, and so she put a curse on the TSA officers. I wish I had a follow up to that part of the story, because by now they're probably having a very bad week, much worse than mine. And but anyway, we got her all tucked away where she's with, and so she ended up staying with one of the 21s, and there's a whole side story to that. So I am back in Thailand. I'm back in Pattaya. I'm going to be moving to Bangkok permanently, and I'm going to be probably giving up my American citizenship. And I know that might shock a few of you guys, but to be real honest and put a cap on this story, guys, what I see, what I know, what I can talk about, I don't want to be in America anymore. What I see, it is not safe to be an American citizen at this point in time. That breaks my heart because I love my country. I wouldn't want to give it up if I didn't have to. But I have passports to multiple other countries, and so for me, it really, I can still come back into America with no big deal. So I will be doing that. We're going to be doing meetups here probably. We talked about that. I think there's possibility that we might be doing either a Vegas or a Texas meetup. As I understand it, as of this morning, I have just cause to be in Texas. So we might be doing a Texas right down the middle, a Texas meetup for you guys that are in Texas. So I know that's been talked about for a while, but that's kind of where we're at with that. So there's your update on stories. That was kind of the fast version of it. There's much, much more to it. So how's everybody doing? Everybody having fun in their Lamborghinis and their 10-bedroom mansions? Oh my God, great day to be in crypto. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the few things here. So one more time here for everybody who's new and just joining us. My name is Red Baron. Thank you very much for joining us. And you can go and subscribe now. You can get in on let's go ahead and try this one more time. See if the subscribe thing is working here. Thailand's internet is generally pretty good. They got 5G. You gonna give it to me here? No, you're not gonna give it to you. I'll be damned. All right. All right. For whatever reason, that's just decided it doesn't want to work. But if you want to go there and you want to get the free Bitcoin chart, just go to FibbyCharts.com, go to subscribe, pricing on the drop down, follow the instructions, and then join us at FibbyCharts, or then join us at the unfairadvantage.chat and join our free level of our chat. All right, let's get on with the evening. Great to have you guys here. Be back in crypto therapy and the crypto treehouse. It takes a lot of effort to do these long things. When I got the time to keep my butt in the captain's chair, I don't mind doing it. But man, it just hasn't been a lot to talk about recently, and it's just been everything else has been commanded my attention. So let's go ahead and start with number one, King Bitcoin, see what's doing here. So we have been moving in an upwards channel here. So the big question that everybody's been kind of posing in Discord is, are we going to be seeing a drop here pretty soon? I've got a theoretical drop. We've added a few things. I probably better bring everybody up to speed as to what's going on here. You're going to see some new indicators on the charts now that have never been there before. We have another new AI system that's been added to ISIS called the ISIS Power Bubble. It is not a Bollinger Bubble. It's a completely different thing. And what you're seeing here, let me go ahead and shut everything down here so I can highlight exactly what we're talking about here. There we go. Power bubble is basically this, the red and the green stripe. And so this is basically an interactive channel, and it's doing very, very well. I'm still in beta on this right now, just kind of testing it to see if we can use it. We're not varying out too much, but this is pretty much a swing trade indicator to be able to tell you when it's time to maybe bail out, when it's time to maybe scoop you up some. And so far, thus far, things are working really, really well. So you can see for Bitcoin, we are operating inside of a channel here, and we've just been stepping up, went out a little bit, dropped back down a little bit. I don't think that this is necessarily over. And if we want to look at this here, you can see that we're just weekly going into another green session here. There is an important day coming up around about the middle of this month. I've been kind of foretelling that as just a gut feeling that I just have an underlying sense of doom, as it were, that I think something around the middle of the month is going to cause an incident. And I've been saying this for about a month and a half. For me, I can't quite define what it is, but it's out there, it's looming, and a few people are picking up on it here. So as far as like the ability to go up for right now, I would not be surprised that we'll probably come up into this general area for right now, but generally speaking, we're still operating inside this channel. So all in all, there's just not that much sexy going on with Bitcoin. There's just no real runs pending or setting up. Now, altcoin, might as well jump to the frog in the room here and get this off, because I know a lot of you guys have been watching this, and we just added this to Platinum Pro, and we added the 15-minute to Platinum. Pepe, that's pretty much the man of the hour. And so it would be a very bad idea. I'm just going to go ahead and spit some theories here, some feelings on this here. It would be a very bad idea to go aping in on this thing, expecting to get life-changing money at the point that we've done already, because it's already gone up, and this is not the entirety of the chart. It started way lower than this, but just within this chart right here, it's gone up 16x just since it's been shown and listed, and it's gone up even more than that. I think like 500,000x or something like that, 500,000%, ridiculous amounts. But I commented when we finally did start getting charts that I could start actually throwing down some lines on and looking at this stuff happened around about there. And I looked at it and I said, we're going to have to be getting a pullback here, a real pullback here pretty soon, and not in that long of a time after. Lo and behold, we're starting to get this. Now, what's causing this is obviously what goes up goes down. But all of these early adopters are taking profits. That's been pretty much put out in the news. That there's people that are, I think there was some dude that put $36 into this, and now he's worth $10 million. I have been waiting for a live stream, or for a long format live stream, to really kind of expound on that a little bit. Let me tell you, as a person who's dealt for many decades with people that don't know how to handle money, I can see the direct correlation to what is going on here. Because there's basically two different types of people. There's type of people that know how to handle money, and there's type of people that you give them money, and a fool and his money is soon parted. I would look at this as being a manipulation by people that are in the know. And how do I say that? So the story of the $36 turned into $10 million. Every fool might have his day, whatever. But this is an orchestrated move. Look at the trend line and tell me that an idiot with $36 now worth $10 million is going to fall right to that line, right to that trend line. You tell me that this is not organized and orchestrated. So my thought, guys, on this is, what is Pepe? Well, we all know what the Pepe meme is. We all know, what it's tied to and who it's tied to, and the political side that it's tied to. The minute that this thing kind of came up on the radar, I had a very strong feeling about this, that just a really strong inclination as to what this is and what's driving it and why it's here. And I'll share that with you right now. Uh, I'll ask you in the Socratic method. Don't you find it funny that such a popular meme, Pepe, Pepe the Frog, if you guys don't know who we're talking about here, that was so prevalent during the MAGA era, now of all times someone decides to take that coin and turn it into or that meme and turn it into a coin. Now, why now? Uh, Also think about this for a single second. Don't you find it funny that this thing lights up, makes massive profits for those that were in early just at the run up of the 2024 elections? Does that not strike you a little bit funny? And I mean, it's sending a very clear signal to somebody that these things are related. I can feel it in my bones. These things are related. So having said those first two things, I can make a few suppositions, or I can make a few um, educated guesses, as it were. This is not. Oh, and by the way, this thing rocketed to, I don't know what the ultimate high was, but I did check it. It was at number 40 above all other cryptos, like 36, 54,000. I don't even know how many damn cryptos there are anymore, but this thing rocketed to number 40 in the overall scheme of things. 1.5 billion market cap. You don't do that when you start at your kitchen table in less than 30 days. No way in hell. There are some powerful, powerful people behind this thing. This is not somebody's got a couple bucks, understands the crypto game, and creating the latest rug pull. It is my position that there is something to do with our country in general, with the election process, with the good guys versus bad guys. I don't really play into that crap personally. I think everybody's suspect, but I believe that this is a clear funding source for one side or the other, and that's my thought. Now, having thought that and having tied that to the coincidences of the lighting up and the speed. And again, no one can just make, even when Doge was created, it never came up like this thing did. And so um, the money flowing into it is insane. Exactly, Sharon's got it. And so I got to watch myself because I'm on public live stream here. But three-letter agencies are notorious for creating these things. If you do not know that, and this is the first time you're hearing it, trust me. You'll never find a better way to make money than be the guy that's in charge. If you want to beat the man, you got to be the man, is the old saying. And the three-letter agencies have the tech, they have the position, they have the connections, they have every single thing it takes to create a Pepe coin and put it at number 40 in less than 30 days. They have the social media reach, they have the tech, they have the technicians, they have the understanding of money, and they got the financial backing to pull this off. So watch Pepe, because if anyone tells you that this is over with, I don't know, necessarily how low they'll let this go, but as the old saying goes, from the Matrix, balls to bones, I feel this. We haven't seen the end of this. We have not seen the end of this. The coincidences are just too stacked up. The obviousness of what we're looking at here is too great. So that's kind of my little sermon on this. So let's take a look and see what's going on with this damn thing. So our last pullback was about 40%. As I looked at this morning, I've got a lot of spaghetti here. Let's go ahead and get some of that off there. As I looked at this here this morning, let's see, we dipped down to dropped about, oof, mercy Lord, 197%. That'll get you pucker factor, won't it? But when you look at the larger scheme of things, the term healthy pullback, I don't think has any point in this conversation or any place in this conversation. But you can see that it had to happen. When this went to this range here, I was telling everybody the pullback was very expected. Now, this is a 15-minute chart, too, by the way. So this is not indicative of the one-day charts that we normally use. So within the span of a day, you're looking here. But we basically come back about almost 200%. Now, will we go down further? Yeah, probably. I've got an alarm set for Hot Watch, and I'm thinking probably, generally speaking, I can see this probably getting down. I already had the boxes here to kind of show you how ahead of this I was, because I just kind of really expected that we were going to kind of come down into this yellow box here and tap off on it. And I was pointing to Twitter to let them know. And by the way, if you guys are not on my Twitter, if you're not on my Facebook, check the link in the description box that is on this video. Join me everywhere because you never know where I'm going to drop a gem. So you want to be everywhere. Of course, obviously be in our Discord. Yeah, anyone, and Money's got it right. Anyone can create an ERC 20 coin. But my point being, yeah, it takes connections. Yeah, he does have it right. You just don't do that. It's a big club and you ain't in it unless you got a lot of damn money and a lot of damn connections. And I don't hear Elizabeth Warren out there talking about we need to get rid of Pepe coin. Wouldn't that be hilarious if she did? But no, it just talk about notoriety, man. They're talking about free advertising, but I'm not terribly concerned that this thing is going to go away. But I will tell you though that I traded. This is another thing you guys should probably know too, and I did tell the Discord this. I traded my flare that I had got my flare distribution. I had a huge amount of flare for my 1/6 distribution that I got. Once Coinbase decided to so generously give me part of what they've owed me for shit knows how long, they gave it to me. And that damn thing, I had a little bit of a 6% run there for a little while, but generally speaking, no, it doesn't stand the probability of running absolutely just ape shit like this thing does. So I thought, screw this flare anyway. And so I ended up flipping my flare for Pepe. And I think basically that the odds are better that I'll get a return on this versus FLR. And honestly, I really could care less about flare. So you think it's a honeypot trap? Do you? After everything I just said, do you think it's a trap? Too easy. That's the other thing too is like you can only burn people for so many times before they stop buying in. I think I'm right in the fact that basically it's Monty's got it right. You can't come up in really 3 weeks, 1.5 billion in 3 weeks. That requires a depth of connection that the average guy certainly can't pull off. Certainly nobody that's creating something at their kitchen table or in their mom's basement or whatever. All right, so that's my say on that. Now, where do I expect it to go? I do still have another box down here. I'm not going to rule it out for more. I'm not going to rule it out at all. To kind of get down here into this, 5 zeros and a 1, 2, 7, 5. To get down in this general range here is not going to. We have a dual AI line right here at this thing, so don't think we're going to quite go that low, but it's not going to surprise when we fall down into this gap between the yellow and the orange and dip into the orange temporarily. So if you guys are not in this yet, and full disclosure here, I swapped out, I don't know where the hell it's at, I swapped out somewhere like right about here. My heart's not breaking for that. I know I'll get my money back. So it wasn't anything. I was thinking about, do I want to buy this or do I want to swap some POS thing that I have that I really don't care about? So I went for the swap, thankfully. So I haven't lost any money. I've just basically lost position at this point in time. But this too shall pass. So everything will be okay on the backside. Now, as far as how high this thing goes, we just don't have the data here yet. I'm really kind of surprised that ISIS is throwing down the AI lines already and doing a really good job of catching it, but we just don't have, Anubis just doesn't have the data going back far enough yet. We are starting to get data on the 1-day chart, but until we start getting data on the 1-week chart, enough data to fill the 1-week chart that all the indicators are using, we just can't go out that far. So it's just all education and experience that's basically given us our marching orders at this point in time. All right, so to go back up here, let's just go ahead and work our way down here. I know I'll hop around a lot as I usually do. So, and Ethereum, the goddamn gas fees, my lord! When that thing was going crazy, the gas fees were just going absolutely berserk, absolutely berserk. I'm ordinarily, as I've said many, many, many times, I'm just no fan of ERC coins because you think you're making the money, but by the time you take out tax, title, license, and transfer, you're not making that much. You're risking every time you do a trade from one coin to another. There's always risk of loss or miscalculation or whatever. You hurry, you make stupid decisions, and you lose. So. But nonetheless, Ethereum is benefiting handedly by this. So to go back and kind of show everybody what I had chalked out for this, we're following
my prediction on this just beautifully. I said we're going to be inside of, let me get a chalk here that actually works. There we go. I said we're going to be inside of, well, I'm sorry, there we go. Hold on just a second. My tools, sometimes it's hard to talk and do two things at once here. Walking and chewing gum is kind of a skill set I don't have sometimes. So hang on. Darken that up a little bit. All right, now we're in the game here. This is why pre-recorded videos are so much better. I can kind of cut this stuff out. But you're getting it raw. F it, we're doing it live. All right. So there's basically where we're at with that. Now, that being said, anyone that understands TA knows where this is going to end. Ethereum should not pass. And once it gets to the tip of this thing, down we go. And it's highly likely we'll probably end up down in this range on first blush, perhaps even lower, but certainly within barking distance of 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, within barking distance of that, and then probably potentially lower. Now, to go back on Bitcoin here, somebody was asking me, do I have predictions going all the way down to $2,200? Laugh all you want. I still think it's possible. So we're still walking around in this area here. These are still probable as anything else. This is ultimate disaster. I'm not calling this as a call per se. I'm just saying the wicks are possible. Could you get it? Probably not, because the exchanges will be closed or whatever. But can you get it inside of the green line, sub $10,000? I don't rule it out. I really don't. I really don't. Because to be real honest, I think that we're pretty much maxed out at a certain point here. I think if we get to this line here, who's to say there may be something absolutely catastrophic spooling up here for the backside of May. Going on into summer, 21's seen it, I've seen it, I've felt it. Going to be a little bit better. Going into the fall should be a little bit better for crypto. Should be a lot better for crypto, actually, and I'm broadly speaking. But until we get there, then I think we're going to be going down. And I also think silver is going to follow that as well. There's a few people that are saying, sub $10 silver. I'm in that. I've been saying it for a good long time. There's one crypto guy that says $6. I don't know about that. Let me kind of elaborate on that when I get to silver. But as far as Bitcoin goes, from where we're at right now, just to get to the top of that box, that's only a 54 or 55% drop, guys. I just don't see it as impossible. A couple of bad 20-25% down days. I have to always, when I talk like this, I get people scoffing, but then I start to show some reality here. And it gets very easy to see how we could do that. There's one, there's two. We've already done a run up. We could do a run down just as easy as we could do a run up. 2 bad days will put us right down there on the deck, $10,000. So I'm not, never was a Bitcoin buyer, in the last couple, 2-3 years. I owned Bitcoin clear back at $5,500. I sold it, made a really good amount of money. I'm not crying about it. But when I started my first trip off to Kenya, I needed cash, and so I had bought it around about $5,200, $5,500, right around there, and I sold it at about 3 to 4x. So I was doing okay. He had a dream. Martin Luther had a dream too, but how's that working out for him? That's crass, I know, but that's live stream. I just say whatever I'm thinking. Yeah, silver guy. Love silver guy, but it is what it is. I'll just leave that. I'll leave it lay. Had an old horse out of the blue dream too. It ain't working out too well, is it? All right. So as long as we're talking about silver, let's just go ahead and talk about it. So silver, it just here's the real deal. A couple little things. Normally I don't talk news too much because I just don't think it really has that much to do with things as much as they want you to believe. But we have hit a double top here with silver, and there's a very defined line in the sand at $26. And I told you that don't really get excited about anything going stratospheric until we go over $30. And the likelihood that that's going to happen anytime soon, not so much. we are in another downward push here, and so they've been holding the line for a long, long time. Yes, but it's going up. But yes, the dollar's buying less. So this is just lockstep with the decline of the price of the dollar. So they'll sneak it up to a certain point, and you look up, and all of a sudden you're at $29. But what's the dollar worth when we get to 29 bucks? But at $30, that's when you're going to start to see something just light up. Now, the one little piece of news that I'm expecting to probably have a little bit of a play on this would be the fact that J.P. Morgan has come out and kind of said they want to get out of the metals game. Well, I would too if I built such a tall house of cards as J.P. Morgan has. I'd be trying to build myself in an exit in that house of cards too. And so they are stepping out of the silver game, or out of the metals game, or so they say. Never trust anything they say. They also said I'd fire anybody who buys Bitcoin. Meanwhile, they're buying the crap of it on the backside. But what's meant for public consumption and what's meant for reality is always often two different things. But on the surface, on the face of it, they're saying they're getting out of the silver game or out of the metals game, and they're reducing their position heavily. And I don't really doubt that that's probably the case because they know they're so overexposed with all the leveraging that they're doing that it's going to come back and bite them in the ass. So are we going to be seeing, the predictions, $6 silver, whatever? Uh, Here's the thing, and I've said this many times. Whenever I talk about metals in general, I always have to kind of interject this because people don't think I'm just going to wait until $6 silver. I'm going to go buy it. No, you're not, because if we have a $6 silver, two different things are going to happen. I've said this many times. A, it'll probably be when everything's closed and you can't buy it no way anyway. Or B, the fees are going to be so astronomically high, they'll be in lockstep with probably just buying it right now. I bought some over here in Thailand. I bought some silver just not that long ago, and I paid $4 an ounce. I had some pocket money. I thought I'm just going to change. I'm in the habit now when I've got walking around money I don't need. I just turn it into silver. Don't even question it. Just do it. Just pay the fees, whatever. And I had a couple $100 in my pocket. I thought, yeah, I'm just gonna buy silver, just rather than walk around with money I don't need anyway, because I usually live off of debit cards. Um, I'm just gonna buy some silver. So I went and bought silver. I paid $4 over in Thailand. I don't know what $4 an ounce for Buffalo rounds over in Thailand. I don't know what it is back home, but I imagine it's probably fairly close to that. So if you're looking at a 24, and this was basically here, I believe. So if you're looking at $25 an ounce, pay 4, you're paying 29 bucks. You're paying 29 bucks out the door. That's your walking around price or out the door price. If we fall to $6, you can bet your butt. You can bet your butt the scarcity of the silver, there'll be such a run on silver that the dealers are going to go, oh, double digit fees, baby, and good ones, good ones. So, there's no sliding scale. You just get what you get. But I would not at all be surprised to see the fees, if you can get it at all, if the silver dealer's open at all, if the silver dealer will even sell it to you. That's the other thing. Um, the fact that you would have a realized gain of anything even coming close to $6 silver, forget it. Just pack that up and put it away. I just don't see it happening. So it's always been my position to all of you, anyone who's been listening for a long, long time. I Let me go back and narrow this out. I bought between these two lines right here. Not a bit more, not a bit less. I've been buying between $25 and $22 for a long time. Pallets, Comex bars, individual coins, 10 ounce, 20 ounce, 100 ounce, 1,000 ounce, all of it bought between here. And obviously, the more you buy per buy, if you buy a Comex bar, you're paying, well, I was paying at one point, I was paying less than $1 an ounce. But on that same day, you might be paying $3.45 an ounce for Buffalo rounds. So my advice, the strong advice, is buy it now and buy as much of it in the largest denomination you possibly can, and throw it in the closet and forget about it, because that's basically what it's all about at this point in time with silver. Gold, I don't follow gold. I had some, but that's the last of the gold. Gold's very easy to get in Asia. Holy Lord, it's easy to get. It's hard to get silver in Asia, actually. Gold, these people, oh my God, they, it's on the temples. It's just everywhere. So, if it gets bad enough, man, the people will probably start tearing the temples down and melting down the relics or whatever. But gold is not something that I generally dick around with because it's just I have my feelings about how much gold there really is in the world, and I don't want to be caught off guard by that. But I know how much silver there is in the world because it's been long known. So silver to me is the sweet spot on the metals game. All right, so to get on, so XRP has just been rock solid boring forever and ever. Uh, to go back and remember where we last left you on the last crypto therapy that we talked about this, I told you it was not going to go up. You know, I'll go ahead and give you my famous "I told you, I told you, I told you." When we ran up here, I was basically telling everybody in the Discord, "Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go up." I'll tell you where I do most of my ranting, just because I love to just beat the hornet's nest. Twitter. If you really want to see me at my raw, unfiltered, speak my mind best, if you can handle it, Twitter. And I love stirring up shit. I really do, especially people that follow somebody else. That it's going to the moon. It's not going to the moon. And at this point in time, everybody who's been on this knows how much of this stuff that I've got. I'm in a position to know, not yet, not yet. And the people that I talk to, which I can't name names, but the people that I talk to and the information that I get, we're not close. We're not close. We are going to talk about something else here. I want to tie this together here with our next little thing we're going to talk about here. So I'll start with this and I'll end with the next crypto. Uh, a few things what I'm seeing on Twitter is the thesis that everybody is saying is this: XRP is going to be the underpinnings of the new financial system. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'll tell you that emphatically. No, it's not. Why would why would the very government that needs this tech fight so hard to suppress it and crush it and basically make it so hard to deal with and take it away from people and try to just oppress it in every way possible, only to turn around and say, well, we need you. What do you think Brad Garlinghouse is going to say to the U.S. government after what they put him through? He's going to go F yourself, go pound sand. No, XRP is not going to back. But what is going to back CBDCs, the first digital money, is this right here, in my feeling, HBAR. Why HBAR? So I'd already said this on Twitter. I've spent a pretty extensive amount of time making a case on HBAR. Let's examine the clues for HBAR. Who's on the council for HBAR? On the advisory board. That would be IBM. That would be Google. That would be Dell. That would be, and you can go ahead and do your own research on that. But there are a few key standout names that stand out that have a mighty cozy relationship with the government. Google being one of them, IBM being the other. And they're on the governing council. And if you guys don't know what the governing council is, the governing council are the people that decide the direction and the way things go and the deals that are done or not done. And I'm here to tell you right now, this thing has the speed, the power, the expandability, and it's built to run. It's built to back CBDCs. It's built to back the new digital currency. It has no qualms about that. It's green, because I know we're all worried about that. It has the ability to back a CBDC. It's built for it. So I view this as being the short-term winner. Now, coming back around, and basically, I'm not saying XRP is going to take a poop or anything like that. But if you want to talk about digital money, talk about HBAR. If you want to talk about sending money across borders, this was never intended. This has been their mission statement. And again, I've lived in the Philippines for a long, long time. I've expounded many times about people sending money to their little 18-year-old girlfriends and whatnot. The Philippines would dry up and blow away if it weren't for all the money that comes through Western Union and whatnot. So those type of people will benefit massively from the speed and the affordability of XRP. That's what it's meant for: cross-border money paying or cross-border settlement. And so this is nothing to do with the CBDCs used inside of America. This, on the other hand, would be. So now where XDC or where XLM plays out, who knows? But again, XLM is also on in the director's chair or the seed capital place for XLM. So I find the cross. How do I want to say this? I'm just kind of just spouting here. I find the
collection of the same people on these coins over and over and over again. IBM, if you don't know IBM's illustrious oppressive history, they made the punch cards that helped the Nazis exterminate the Jews. So if they're willing to do that, putting their name on anything for CBDCs, that's lightweight stuff compared to the stuff they've done in the past. IBM stands for International Business Machines. So they're always on the forefront. They're on the forefront of PCs. They're on the forefront of AI. Deep Blue was one of the very first AIs. Most people don't give them credit, but Deep Blue was one of the very first. Before they were doing AI, before AI was sexy or even something people even thought was going to be, part of our future. So the fact that IBM is on the governor and council for this bad boy makes me feel really warm and fuzzy, to put it the least. So let's go ahead and take a look at this here. So I did jump in on this. I was trying to catch you never throw the kitchen sink at it, and so I had about 5 figures that I was trading in. So I was looking to catch, I can't remember where we were at here. I think it was somewhere around here. Yeah, I think it was here. I was looking for a bounce here and it just didn't go and it just went left-handed. And I got to looking at this. I got to digging deeper and deeper and I could sell at a loss. I don't ever do that. And so I'm basically waiting for it to turn around. And as I get to research, I'm like, I really don't care how low it goes. So I doubled down and tripled down. And so now here we are. I threw a predictor about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, showing you I kind of expect this to go right down inside of this triangle here, follow this down, and pick up this Anubis call from way back in April. And sure enough, we hit the top of the predictor circle, dipped right, if you can see this, dipped right inside of that circle, just bang, dead center. Not quite to the tip of the arrow yet. We do have a possible little dot call, so we got a little bit more to go here. We've got another red candle that hasn't quite expressed itself yet, but still has 21 hours left on that candle. The truth of the matter is yeah, okay, so you got in on it and it dipped on you, but we're really not talking about a difference between 7 cents and 5 cents. 2 pennies, I mean, that's not a whole hell of a lot. So I'm willing to go ahead and grit my teeth getting all the way down here. So I've already got the parts marked out for you guys. Worst local case, and by local I mean within this year's movement. Quite possible we could get down here, down into the 3.5 cent range. We do have a lower ultimate call down here in the 2.75. That one's a little bit extreme for me right now, but the fact that we could get down to a local bottom here, or down to this, that's 31 and about 31% more. I do believe it's very possible to happen. So buckle up, guys. If you're in this, just understand you're going to be holding a while because I can very easily see that. Now, since I'm going to go ahead and do this the correct way, if we do this, going way up here and bouncing back down, what if it hits there? What if this pulse marker tends to be the turnaround time and we could be up there for a double bottom and then things get real quick and things start going up real quick? That's theoretical at this point in time. So as far as HBAR goes, I really don't care if it's going down. I'm just buying all the way down. So my next buy would be probably, I would say around about maybe 4.75 cents. It wouldn't be a huge buy. I'd be probably right in this range right here, doing another safety buy, what we call a safety buy. But if it got down here down to the 3.75 range, I would be ripping out the furniture and ripping out the kitchen sink and throwing it on there because I think that turnaround time would just about, we do have a call down here at 2.75. We shall see. That could be a spike, but as I see, I feel pretty good because this is a 50% of this ultimate call here. I feel pretty darn good that this could be a local double bottom right here. So that's basically all I'm gonna. That's all the further I want to go with that one there. Just we'll update. If you guys want to see more on that, just subscribe to the charts and catch the daily chats and commentary, and I'll update that as need be. So as far as XRP goes, let's move and let's bring out another coin. Let's just go ahead and do all the X coins here. Do that one. Let's do that one. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Spoiler on that. Okay, so we had basically an arch here. So I told everybody just relax because we're not going to the moon. There was a bit of news, and I forget because there's just so much that always goes on in the crypto world. There was so much going on that it seemed like, I think what it is every time this case, this SEC case sounds like it's about ready to go, everybody starts popping their head out of the hole going, here we go, here we go, here we go. And, again, I'm on Twitter saying, no, 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 no.
and down she went, down she went. So now it's off the radar. Nobody's worried about it again. Um, Ultimate low, I'll go back. Sorry, this is what we do, guys. If you're new to this, we hop around a lot. So for Bitcoin, ultimate low for Bitcoin, realistically, we'll go back in the video. I already kind of covered it. Realistically, I don't have any problem telling you that we're going to be in the screen box, lower part of the screen box. 87.25. If you want a number, I would not be at all surprised to see us get down into that range. To me, it just feels right. Been saying it for a very long time. Long time I've been saying it. People laugh. They're not laughing so much anymore now. Things are starting to go back down. All right. So anyway, back to this. We're basically just on the highway to hell here. We're going to be on this dual AI line before you know it. Let's go ahead and take this here. And I'm going to cheat in the way that I do this. I usually like to use the arrows, but to do that, that's going to put us basically right in spit and distance. So this probably more like this right here, but generally speaking, right in that range right there. We're going to be back in the 30, what is that? 36 cent range. As I said on a video, I recollect saying something about this a while back. We have to get below 35 cents. We need to get below this action right here. This could be a double bottom, but I just don't think so. We need to get below this 35, 36 cent range, basically below this dual AI line right here at 33.7. Get into this open space where there's not an awful lot going on here and be able to free fall down here to a call from way back in January 2023. It's coming. It's coming. So don't rule this out. This is an 11-cent call. Don't rule this out. It's been here for a pretty good amount of time, but we've got calls all the way down to sub 10 cents, or I've got calls all the way down to sub 10 cents. But right now, I basically want to take it little by little because sometimes it gets to be a bit much for some people to accept. But as you see it play out, you'll start to become a believer. Meant in regards to HBAR when BTC bottoms out, but ask me in the Discord. I don't want to interrupt my flow here, but I'm not tracking with what you're meaning. All right, so XRP, XLM is going to do the same thing. XLM's kind of wandering around doing its own thing, generally trending to the same direction. It hit exactly to the call here, and we're at 75% of this call here. We're on our way. We have a level right here, 7 cents, 7.6. We'll be back down to the bottom of this box before very long because, again, we're doing the same thing here. If you want to take that and just kind of extend it, we're going to be kind of tracking along on that right there. So we'll be pretty much testing this resistance line here at some juncture in time. And that's down there around about 7.5 cents. Lower calls down here in 6.4, green arrow. We've talked about this for a long time. We have a lot of a lot of unrealized calls here still from way back. One here at just slightly above a nickel. I don't see any reason to undo that call. I still think that probably a nickel or less XLM still in the cards. Percentage-wise from where we're at, percentage-wise from where we're at right now would be not impossible. You're looking at 35%. 35%, that's one of the lowest percentages of some of the calls I've been showing you on this video tonight. That is not, here it is right here. We basically got 2/3 of that in a run up, so we could do a run down just as well. In a short span of time, we could be down in the green box and below. There are calls at some pretty ludicrously low prices. These are again not outside of the realm of possibility if things got absolutely catastrophic. So remains to be seen. We'll check in on it. Now this is the one that I follow most actively on Twitter, and every single time I call a move on this thing, it does it because I've recognized that this thing tends to run about 33% different than everything else in the market. It's not opposite, it's not exact, it's just between those two lines. And so when we got to about this point, I said, we've got a rounded top here, guys. This is going down. And I said that around about right here. And down she goes, down to the mark where I showed that it was going to go to. Now, where are we going from here? I don't see, if everything else is going down, I don't see this going upwards anytime soon either. It is starting to show a little bit of strength here.
However, if it were to go up at all, I don't think that it would much go past the 0.038 range. However, I'm inclined to believe that we're not done yet, and we are still going to go lower, probably down here to the 200 EMA, which is right here. I like to watch that one to kind of it's kind of my cheat crystal ball a little bit to let me know, am I on, am I thinking or not? Um, speaking of predictions, this is always my favorite go-to coin. I've shown this numerous times, numerous times. When we were on our first down slide, we started to come up here. I did what's called a gestalt, which is a remote viewing thing that I do. And I said, this is the path that we're going to be following, and we have indeed been following that pretty much ever since I made it clear over here. So still not advising anyone touch this thing. At $105 give or take, I'm still telling you, wouldn't even get excited until we're probably down into the 35 to $50 range if you absolutely can't contain yourself and you got to have it. I just basically think there's better ways to spend your money. Even on a $35 coin when everything else is going to be just completely smashed down, why would you want to buy a $35 coin and get such bad return on your money? So this one to me, unless it just absolutely got crushed and I had some sort of inside information, which I don't, uh, that this thing was going to do something just spectacular, I just would probably always pass on it. I've never got a good vibe about this thing as far as like being one of the best coins to invest in. I'm not, pooping on anybody as far as their belief in this. I think it probably will do something, but for me, it's just a matter of dollars and cents and percent return on money. That's all it is. And if I can see that and I believe in it, then I'm on it. And going back to like an XRP at 35, 40 cents versus this at 35, $40, you can see where I'm coming from. And the percent, as I've said multiple times, far easier to go from 25 cents to 50 than it is to go from $25 to $50. So that's pretty much the thesis on that. Phantom is one that we track in the upper tiers of VIP and Platinum, Platinum Pro, and Diamond. And this is another. This is a hot one, man. I called this right here. I told you that this was going to be happening. I showed you where the end was, and up she went. I also told everybody get out. And again, we kind of vectored out just a little bit, but we are still going down. This is not done yet, but a little bit of a heads up as to what's coming in the future. Not to this date, but you're looking at a buck 26 future forecast, statistical future forecast for a 36-cent coin. So Phantom better be on your watch list. And if you guys want to catch a daily commentary or pertinent, timely commentary on this, I advise you get yourself into at least VIP platinum level, because I do cover this at platinum. So if you subscribe to platinum, you'll know daily what's going on with this. By the way, that's another thing too here. As long as I'm kind of taking a break from this, if you guys are subscribed to VIP Gold or VIP Platinum, or of course Platinum Pro, with VIP Platinum you do get Hot Watch Lite, which if I'm doing a trade on the major coins, you guys get a live. You can copy my homework. You get that as part of your Platinum subscription. So it's just something it's a live notify. If I buy something within 10 milliseconds, you know about it. If I sell something, if I see an opportunity or whatever, if you want to subscribe to the full Hot Watch, which covers all 500 coins that I track in Platinum Pro, you can either subscribe to Platinum Pro or you can individually subscribe to Hot Watch Prime, which is available on the Discord. You can ask one of the moderators and they can bring you up to speed on that if you want to get in on one of those opportunities. All right, so let's talk about a few things I'm not necessarily in love with right now, justifiably. I kind of one of my earlier videos, I made a case for this not so sexy, and you can see what I'm talking about. I don't see it. I don't see it. I've been right all along. I just don't. I'm not digging it. I'm not picking up what they're putting down here. So, and again, to kind of cover this for people that are not, I always try to circle back to bring everybody up to speed. I view this as a technology coin. It's an entertainment coin, and it's not ready for prime time yet. And we've got a lot of world issues. We've got a lot of financial type coins, more serious big boy coins. Let's just say it that way. So I don't have to over explain this. There's a lot more big boy issues that need to be solved in the crypto space before this thing comes into its own. Once we get the money coins straightened out, once we get life on an even keel, we can start talking about entertainment by and large.
then we can start talking about theta. Uh, there's been some pretty outrageous calls for the future of it. I would not look for this for probably, any of those to even be halfway approaching that until probably easily 2025 and beyond. It's just not in the cards for this. So basically, this has just been a slowly losing air out of the tire. Now, related to that, so I just don't touch it. So related to that, I do like T Fuel because it is one of the most prime swing coins you can sink your teeth into. And I got a call, and we are headed right to that call. Probably within the next 48 hours, we'll be down here hitting my call area. Now, when that happens, Hot Watch Prime people will get a notification that it's time to potentially look at this as a buy, and then we'll be checking the indicators. But we do have a lower swing zone that I'm still waiting for. We almost got to it, but we didn't quite get it. But it's kind of my belief that when we hit the bottom of this, there's an opportunity for a swing. So we could be, if we hit the bottom of that and just go up to the top of the green box in the power bubble, there's 27%, easy peasy. And but if you look at the way this thing moves, again, you're looking at a 4-cent coin. Much easier to make money go from 4 cents to 8 cents than it is to go from $400 to $800 or some ridiculous price. But we move in a pretty predictable thing, and as long as you don't throw the kitchen sink at it, you're not going to lose your shirt, and you're not gonna find yourself living in a box or living in a van down by the river. So this is a pretty easy swing trade to make when everything else is kind of hard to get a lock on. But I do believe that we've got a decent amount of support right here that would justify buying at about let's just go ahead and call it roughly about just over 4 cents. A grab on that, just a what the hell grab on that would probably put you up 20 to 25 to 27%. Give me just a second here, guys. I'm going to kill my mic. I don't want to sneeze in you guys' ear. Here, hold on just a second. I don't know what it is they grow here, but whatever it is, it's not rice, but whatever it is they grow here is just not participating, not playing well with my allergies. So my eyes are itchy and it's terrible. All right. So everybody's favorite lovable loser still going. Oh, ping, ping. There it is. There it is. So in the last video, I showed you guys. This was probably, I don't know, a week ago. I showed you guys when we were up here. It's going to this line. And here we are on the line. Ping. So again, if you have not got off the sinking ship, I have to keep saying this. Like I said, I have to kind of keep referring to Twitter. Nothing I do irritates people more than when I talk about the cult does not like me. And I don't care. I revel in it because when you're right, and I'm right. And we're going to go even lower. We're going to go to there, and we're going to go to there. And by God, sorry to tell you, we're going to go here. This ship is going down. Don't be on it. But I'm on Twitter all the time talking about this, and I am one man yelling in the woods, screaming in the woods, and I'm going to continue to do it because it hit this mark exactly. It hit exactly to the middle of my trend line that I drew, and it's not hard to understand. And if you look at the dragon here and you look at the Bollinger Bubble expanding, this thing's just gathering ahead of steam. It's going to be clicking off this mark right here. It's going to be hitting the bottom here on this one, and the dual AI lines right here just calling for it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 8. So, if anything, if you guys like to short, I can't think of anything. Probably, again, you don't do it with my blessing, but if you're looking to short something, Jesus God, I can't imagine anything you'd probably, just murder it with better than SHIB. And to put it, my 3 cents worth on that, to be real honest, is, if you short against these, I'll call them cult coins, if you short against these culty coins, and you see something like this that has been proven so many times right, and you're like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to go ahead and short it. You're going to kill it. You're just absolutely going to murder it because as this goes down, you're still got the diehard faithful that they're not going to sell their shit because I've told this story many, many times, and she might be in my video. You know, I mean, I'm not throwing mud pies at anybody, but we had a gal that maxed out all of her credit cards to buy this, and she's still in the cult, and she's still in the cult clear the hell up here somewhere up here that we're never going to see ever. In my mind, we're never going to see again. You know, this had its day, and you know, for whatever good it is. I mean, our temporary in-house psychic that we had that works with me, Veronica Jane had said, you know, that this thing won't be going away. That there'll be a clique of people that trade amongst themselves. You know, if that's what you want to do, then God bless you. You know, I can't convince you or whatever, but you know, if you're looking to have life-changing money and turn this into actual fiat, into cash, into something else, you know, this isn't your jam. It's just time to get out. Now, back to this. So we have to discuss some stuff with this little girl right here because things are not progressing as quickly as I had envisioned, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's, you know, all is lost. If you remember, so let's bring you up to speed here. So let's back up the Wayback Machine, all the way back to what got me on what I'm going to talk about. And let's take that out of there. All right, so to go back and review our history on Twitter, what's been going on with Twitter. So there's something called X.com for you folks that are new to this live stream. There's something called X.com, which is owned by Elon Musk. It is his vision to turn that into the everything app. So those of you who are somewhat cognizant of what's going on in the world, crawl out from under your rock once in a while and listen to what's going on, know that Twitter is now called X Corporation, X Corp. There's a reason for that because, excuse me, hang on a second, sneeze coming on here. Sorry about that. So Twitter no longer as a corporation exists. It's now known as X Corp, and that is because it's part of X.com. I've alluded to this many times. I'm going to go ahead and show you this. So when you go to X.com, you're not going to find anything. What you're going to find is you're going to find this little X right up here in the corner right here. This will be where you live your life in this white space soon. Because if Elon Musk has anything to say about it, and he probably does, he wants to turn it into what they have over in China. And with the huge amount of time I spent in the Beijing airport, I had a chance to spend some time looking at WeChat. He is going to try to make WeChat for North America and England, North America and United Kingdom. He's going to do it. He's definitely going to do it because he applied for a banking license for Twitter or for X Corp or whatever. Why would you do that? Well, because he's co-founder of PayPal. He knows money exchange. He knows very well what's going on. And so I've told this story many times, so I'll fast forward through it a little bit. But basically, there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle, the chessboard that are being moved into place that they're all going to reside on X.com. Twitter, you're going to be able to post your entire family, everything about your life, your banking, your life, your digital ID, everything about you is going to be on X.com. It will be ubiquitous. You won't be able to get away from it, and you won't be able to operate without it. And probably wouldn't surprise me. Here's another little thing that kind of came to me in a 21 meeting. I just got a vision. Watch for him to take an ownership in Uber or create an Uber type thing and use his self-driving cars. You know, you want a self-driving car, just get one off of WeChat or get one off of X.com, and you'll have a Tesla come pick you up. Watch for it. That's a little vision that I got a while back, so that'll be fun to see that come to pass. But until we got, you know, any kind of sight on that, it's just speculation. However, what's not speculation is his love for Dogecoin. I think it's pretty much obvious that for whatever reason he just likes that project. He must have a lot of it or whatever. And so the speculation is that he's going to incorporate that in a payment system on Twitter. Well, Twitter is now what I call it. I said it's X.com. So when X.com goes live, you're going to see a payment processor on it. And the theory here, the theory is that Doge will be amongst those coins. I don't think there's a single one of us on this live stream that doesn't believe that crypto won't end up in something to do with a Twitter, with an X.com. Bitcoin certainly will. So if he's given to have such a love for Doge, why wouldn't it? It just seems too easy to too easy of a match. So what I had told everybody in past live streams is to watch the timeline and the quarters, the corporate quarters. You know, January, February, March. That's Q1. April, May, June. That's Q2. Um, we are now in April, and we're now in Q2. I said in Q2, watch for them to make some form of announcement about finally getting a payment processor brought to Twitter to be able to like, hey, you know, if you and I are talking and you want to buy my go-kart, you send me $100 and I'll sell you my go-kart and we can just trade crypto or money or whatever over Twitter or over X.com if they make the full switch or whatever. And he's been very clear that this is the ultimate plan. So it's coming. That's not up for speculation. It's coming. So the question is when does that happen? And I've been telling subscribers and I've been telling video viewers to be watching for this in this quarter. You'll probably likely get it at the end of this quarter. You'll get the announcement, the implication of it, or the implementation of it. Probably not until the end of the year, if that were to happen. But here's the reason why I say this is because these quarters are important from a business standpoint. There's the opening of the checkbook, the closing of the checkbook, but there's also another aspect to that. Investors want to know, new investors, like, well, should I be buying X.com stock or whatever? How would I do that? Well, I listen to the quarterly report. The quarterly report. Because the quarterly report is what gives you the battle plan for the upcoming quarter. So if you're going to get any kind of announcement that this is in fact about to happen, you're going to get it in the quarterly report. And so the quarterly reports are being written right now for the next quarter, and they're going to be leaked, and they're going to be, there's people that their job on the press is to read these things and to create the news that they feed to us. And so I would not be so January, February, March. That's ship has sailed. April, May, June, May, June, May, June. That's the next likely target for an announcement on a payment processor. Now, when that would be rolled out and actually go into battle mode, who's to say? But that announcement will be enough to set the world on fire. And so now that we've talked about that, now let's take it down to the platform here. Let's take it down to Doge. Meanwhile, everybody that doesn't have an understanding of what I just told you is just looking at this at face value, just go, well, it's doing very well. Good. Good. Yes, Doge sucks. You should sell it. So, but when they do what I told you they're going to do, this game is going to change quick, quick, quick. All right, so what we're looking at is basically just a disgusting decline since May of '01 or May of 21. And it's just been down, 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 down. I would not call this a triangle. However, if we are to say, well, where's this going to finally park? I've got an alarm sitting at about 5 cents, but I don't think that this is going to necessarily be the end. I would expect a pretty large bounce at around about 058, 059. I would expect a pretty large bounce, which would take it up percentage-wise, just to kind of, this is all theory here, but I don't think I'll be too long. Anywhere from about 38 to give or take around about 50. I would be inclined to probably bet on the short version of that because they're not going to let you make too much money before they dash your hopes. But anywhere from about 35 to 50% if you can keep your skin in the game long enough. It's not going to be in one fell wick. It'll be over a week, 2 weeks, something like that. That's wave one. You could kind of call that wave two. I would not necessarily call that wave two. So wave three will take it, generally from here to here. But when we get past that point of the announcement on into, the backside of summer, this game is going to change strongly. I have a feeling that we're gonna definitely be hitting new levels. So we've already gone up once. I'm going to break from that for just a second. I want to check something here real quick because I've been meaning to do that for a while. I know this is very busy, but it's like downtown Tokyo. If you spend time in it, you get used to you get used to looking at just what matters to you. All right, that's about what I thought. I'm just having a me moment here. That's what I thought. All right, so you're looking at about a 10x. So I would not be the least little bit surprised to see a 10x or at least a 6 or 7x once this starts to kind of go into crazy mode. How can I say pattern recognition? I know. The thing is, I should probably speak to that. When you see this stuff like this, you don't use a chart like this. You use it like this. You zoom in and you get down to the micro fraction. You get down here and you look at the data that's important. If you zoom out, obviously that's where you turn these things on and turn them off, stuff like that. Am I planning? I don't know. Do you guys want me to do one? Because I can really drop a whole lot of bombs on you and really really wreck your vision of the future. Roundtables are something for you that don't know. Roundtables. Yeah, thank you very much. He said my previous calls are spot on, and he's referring to. I assume you're referring to me talking about how the world is going to fall apart systematically, and I've called every single one of those so far. Yeah, I got a lot more where that comes from. I don't think, to be very candid, I'm not being cute. I don't think a lot of you want to hear what I can tell you, what I know is coming. Through many different sources, I don't think a lot of you would really want to hear it. Ignorance is truly bliss. Um, understand this. We'll circle back to this. Uh, I'll just say this and we'll just move forward. I don't want to spook anyone, but understand this. I'm giving up my American citizenship. What does that tell you? And I don't do that easily. I'm giving up my American citizenship. There has to be a reason. And that reason is the things that I would tell you. I want none of it. Thank you very much. So yeah, if you want another roundtable, we may work something out. We may talk about that. We'll have to. Well, I would say, truthfully, I would rather. I'll tell you what I would rather do. I would rather have a meetup for you guys and something like that. Just get everybody into kind of an area. But we'll see what we can work out. Speaking of that, by the way, I mentioned at the top before many of you guys got here, I just kind of kill time at the top of the show. I'm going to find myself back in Texas. I have a reason to go to Texas. It could be anywhere inside of Texas, but I have a reason to go to Texas. How many of you guys could make it to Central Texas for a meetup? And I'm talking probably in June. Yeah, I would say probably in June. How many of you guys could probably make it to Central Texas in June? Think about that. If you are interested, by the way, go to the Discord. Let me show you something here that we every once in a while we post these things. Go to events, go to next meetup. Just go to this room here, and any of these places that you might be interested in going to for a meetup, which would be probably around May, June, obviously. Click. You're welcome to click all four if you think you can go to all, potentially all four. But if you're interested in meeting Central Texas, go here, click this, add to this. So we got 8 people that are interested. I'd like to see a bigger group than that. Vegas, I got a house in Vegas still. Um, I'm always down for that. And that's where I have most of my car collection and whatnot. So I've got all my crap in Vegas. But that'll probably happen regardless. But if somebody's interested in going to Texas, definitely go. Get involved. The unfairadvantage.chat. Come in here. Go to the next meeting room. Click the Texas thing and let me know. Of course, I know X-Mob's in Texas. I keep threatening to come down there and have a meetup down in his area, so he needs to be in on that. Yeah, and that's another thing. I'd love to see you guys do road trips and stuff like that. I know Rhino is up. Vegas in June. Yeah, well, um, I don't rule it out. I mean, if I'm in America, like I said, I'm not now. I may just do a twofer. During my birthday 2 years ago, we went from South Carolina to Vegas. So I just within the span of 2 weeks, we did 2 meetups on both coasts. So don't rule it out. As much as I hate going through airports and stuff, I love just getting out. It bores me to tears to have to sit in front of a computer all the time. I know I got to as part of my job, but what part of the Midwest? Yeah, let's get that answered here real quick. Sorry, I'll divert the crypto talk here for a little bit. And we got big business going on here with a meetup. Oh, that's right. Sharon's in Minnesota. There's not a lot of people that are subscribers. That's one thing that's kind of always been unique. And by the way, you guys that are in Europe, uh, one of these days I will do, I don't know really where I would do that. I would probably London, I suppose. I don't know where I would do a meetup for our European contingent because thus far it just hasn't been conducive. Our subscription numbers for the YouTube are just massively lower than where they should be. I mean, we should be well over 100,000, 150,000 subscribers by now with the promotions I did. I've just kind of fallen off, and YouTube just sucks with their promotions and whatnot. So we just got our core group of hardcore fans and a few people that find us as referrals and whatnot. But being a one man band, it gets to be a bit of a grind. But yeah, so I would probably do Europe at some juncture in time. Asia, I've had no indication that anyone wanted to do Asia. I can certainly do Asia. I'm already in Asia, but as far as like meetups, the core. Excuse me, hang on a second. Man, my allergies are killing me. The core of our subscription base is along the bottom of America, which is kind of funny. I mean, there's hardly anybody across the very few people in New York. I know there's a few like rock and rolls up in New York area, but very few people up in the East Coast. They're just all along, just south of the Mason-Dixon lines. Just them northerner Yankees. They ain't crypto people, evidently. I don't know. There's a few, but not many. All right, so let's get back to business here. So again, join us. Let us know here in the clicks. Let us know, what you're good to go on it. So, Doge, don't rule this thing out. We're like right now we're at the bottom of the Keltner, but we will be going lower. You can very clearly see that by the indicators. You can clearly see it by where everything is going. So, she's on the downturn. So the next expected is right at the bottom of the power bubble there, and so you're looking at about 6.5 cents would be my forecast for short term. And from there, probably a bounce. I'll tell you what, honestly, if you want me to give you a play right there, there's your zone right there. We'll hit that. We'll probably ricochet. Whoops, excuse me. We'll probably ricochet around in that area right there. So if you want to kind of play a marginal amount of a bounce right there, 10.5% maybe. If you're lucky, you might go back up there. I would say you got a pretty solid 10% bounce right there. Ah, won't be doing New York anytime soon. Sorry. That would be the last place I would probably go. I would have to have. I'll tell you honestly, with meetups, I would have to have from most places that I don't want to go already anyway. I would have to have probably 50 people on a meetup before I would get on an airplane. If I was already in America. Where are you from, Monty? I can't remember. He came to Vegas, though. Did you fly to Vegas, or are you close by? You're in Idaho. Did you drive from Idaho to Vegas on our last meetup? By the way, I apologize because I never got a chance to really sit and talk with you very much. You were in and out with your wife, and I didn't. I saw you there, didn't have much chance to talk to you. I was so busy dealing with everybody else. Woo. So yeah, you guys, I tell you, love you guys dearly, man. The things that you guys do for little old me just absolutely floors me. For you guys that are new or have not heard some of these stories, I mean, people have gotten in their cars. This to me is still just floors me that you guys would do this. I come on, I tell stories, and you just hear this voice you've never seen the face at that point. I had my 54th birthday in South Carolina. There were people that drove 14 to 18 hours across America to come to a meetup to meet some guy because of his stories and whatnot and celebrate his 54th birthday. Best birthday I ever had. Love to do it again. Didn't get a chance to do it on the 55th because crypto was just in the toilet, but I cherish the fact that every single one of you guys would do that for me. And believe me, I totally um, love the fact that you did. And I hope you do it again. I definitely want to strive to make that. Yeah, fly. I would advise it. No, I can also tell you about flying. If many of you are afraid of getting on a plane because you're going to get masked Nazis, it's just not happening anymore. There's very few people, by the way, that are wearing masks anywhere. They're not talking about it in the airport. You see the signs and whatever. Yeah, we'll do that. I might as well just do that real quick while I'm talking. You know, there the whole COVID thing for the time being. If any of you guys are like, I ain't getting on a fucking airplane, fine, you can do it now. I Anywhere that I've been in the last month has not been beating us over the head with wearing a mask. So um, let's talk about this winter. I'll get to that here in a second. Speaking of the $6 silver guy, that's another winning prediction. I hate to kick the guy, but man, sometimes there we go. Dent was doing real well there for a little while, and then it finally. I don't really know what drove this. I was, to be very honest, very surprised because I wasn't expecting that it should do that. But the fact that we're back down here, kind of in the status quo, that's where she should be. I would, I don't think that this is done yet. I think that we're still going to be coming down here into the ultimate buy zone. I don't really think that it's going to be the first thing I'm going to be diving on, but if I think about it and I got some money, I would definitely put it on my short list. This is an ERC20 coin, is why. Um, yeah. Oh, the Bluebird story. So I tell you, if I hate to break from crypto talk. Me, I'm always just interjecting my stories. The Bluebird story. Let me tell you something. Since many of you guys have heard that heartbreaking story, and thank you very much for allowing me to tell that and kind of expose myself like that because it's still hurts. It still does. But I met her twin sister um, when I went to Cuba the last couple weeks ago, and it is frightening how close she is. I was not even aware that she even had a twin sister. I was talking to Grandmama, and my girlfriend walks right behind. My departed girlfriend walks right behind Grandmama, and I'm like, "Did I just see my girlfriend walk behind you? Did I just see a spirit go behind?" I'm like, "What the?" I'm like, "Did I just see that?" And I said to her, I go, what just happened? And she looked at me, and I was talking to a translator. I go, what? Who just walked behind you? And she goes, oh, that's Galeen. Yaleen and Galeen. They're sisters. And so she goes, oh, that's Galeen. And I go, who is that? Oh, that's Yaleen's sister. And I didn't know. And so anyway, when I went to Cuba, we spent some time. I showed some photos in one of the videos that I talked about in the VIP, and obviously my girlfriend had passed away, and so her clothes got inherited, and so like the hat that I bought her when we went out to the beach and stuff, so now her sister has that, and so they came to Havana and they to see Grandmama off, and so she's wearing Bluebird's hat. And she's wearing her shoes, and I'm seeing her, and I'm just like, you can't imagine the emotions that went through me, guys. I mean, some stories I just can't tell, but oh my God, it's like seeing a live ghost. And I cannot tell you how many times, cannot tell you how many times I wanted to say I love you. It hurt. So, but sorry, I didn't mean to lose it there. But if anybody's ever had that experience of dating a twin and losing, breaking up or whatever, it's crazy. But her mannerisms are the same. Twins are kind of a unique thing. They're very big, but there's a connection between twins that is really unique to say the least. And twins are quite a popular thing in Cuba too, by the way. I don't know what the deal is with that, but um, uh, side story that has absolutely nothing. I got to tell a little friendlier, funnier story here to kind of get myself out of this mood, or I'm going to just start bawling like a baby. Sorry, you hit me with a left field there. You hit me with a left hook there, guys. Don't drop my Bluebird story on me here in the middle of a live stream. Uh, there's a legend in Cuba that probably is pretty real, and I've heard I have reason to believe this. I was talking to Domain, who's one of our moderators, and it's rumored that Fidel Castro has had sex with basically 1/4 of the women's population of Havana. And so, like, if you meet a woman of a certain age, she's like, "Oh yes, I've been with Fidel," and apparently Fidel's, it's good to be the king. And so, I don't know the conversation that ensued, but uh, it was interesting because I speak to Grandmama. She very very rarely speaks in English. When she does, she can understand, but she can't speak very well. She speaks in kind of a Haitian Spanish Cuban accent. But that story got brought up, or some mention of Fidel. She goes, "Oh, I know Fidel." Apparently, she knew Fidel. She knew Fidel Castro, and she was his advisor, his spiritual advisor during during the Revolution. And there's a really interesting story there. I haven't dug it all out of her just yet, but um, she was alluding to the fact a lot of his habits, and at some point I don't want to break from crypto here too much. I just want, this is a teaser. We'll just call it a teaser. But she gave me a lot of insight onto what that guy was really like, and these people that wear Che Guevara shirts have no idea what a murderous son of a bitch he was. They have no idea. You would not wear a Che Guevara shirt if you knew exactly how heinous this man was. The stories that I hear from people that are on the ground there, absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. But anyway, um, we'll get back to crypto here. So sorry, that was just kind of a little aside there. I'll tell you some more stories about Fidel here in the VIP. We'll talk about that at some point in time. We get to doing a free for all thing here. All right, so let's get back to Dent. This thing. Speaking of the $6 silver guy, how you liking that XRP? Jeez. It just, oh my God, guys, this, you know, the thing about a crypto influencer that comes on and makes a coin suggestion, it takes a special kind of balls to do it and get your group. I'm very cautious. Rome was a son of a bitch for us, but that's a little bit different thing. That was a rug pull that nobody saw coming. But to basically come out and I never told anybody that they should get in on something. I just said what I'm doing. I don't jump into anything that I don't recommend anything that I don't jump into, 10x, 100x, what you guys do. This is one of the coins that was kind of talked about as being, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And I never felt good about this coin. What does it do? Well, it does some stuff. It's really great. And there's some great people. I'm like, I don't see it. And a lot of people aped into this thing. And, I get the feeling a lot of people are still holding this. I'm telling you, it's not going to get any better. It's going to keep going down and down and down. So you're looking at about a penny and a half, and I don't see that being the bottom. I see 11. We got a dual AI line down here with this thing. This thing is going to keep ripping to the bottom. If somebody can tell me different, I don't see any reason why anybody should own what's left of any amount of money they got in this. So, but that, the thing about this is that I wanted to say was, you recommend it to people, or you say, hey, this is a coin I think is going to do really well. And then when it stops doing well, you just stop talking about it. And to me, I don't think that's ethically, I don't think that's really the right thing to do. I mean, if you suggested something like this, you need to own it all the way to the bottom. You need to kind of, because people are kind of waiting and waiting and waiting. And that's something that with Rome, I watched that, and I'm like, watched it every single day, and we took an extravagant beating on that because of the shenanigans that were going on with the devs. But the whole time we were trying to monitor and see what was going on. Didn't go ghost. We had a sub community on that. So people that get in on stuff like this, and again, Shiba is another one that there's a lot of people that were really whoring up Shiba, and now there's just no good news. And for this, there is never going to be any good news from what I see. Anything that I'm seeing as far as like, momentum or whatever, it's just always down. So I've been saying it for a good long time, all the way up here. If you haven't got it out by now, you pretty much aren't. But I don't honestly see a time when this thing is going to bounce back into, because I would imagine a lot of you who have bought in, when you bought in, probably bought in around about here. And I'm here to tell you right now, I don't, I honestly don't ever see the time when this is going to get up, you know, anywhere even remotely close to this. So sorry to be bearer of bad news. That one's not funny. I wouldn't laugh at you on that one. That's kind of kind of nasty. Let's see here. And here's another one. Again, I'm as long as I'm trash talking shit coins. This is never one that I've ever suggested to anyone. I put it up because it was kind of the hot topic for a while, but again, you can see the same thing. The same thing. Gigantic run up, just trailing off, nothing left but the hopefuls. I don't see this one ever. This one never had any legs to begin with anyway. It just, I think this was picking up on the notoriety of the Bored Ape coins. Is there a tie-in on that, by the way? I don't know. I don't even follow this enough to even know what the hell this thing actually is. I just put the coin up and I track it. Does this have any direct tie to the Bored Ape NFTs? Does anyone know? Let's get back to the real. So there's a few. This one comes across my. I like to scroll up and down because once in a while I'll just get these random thoughts. It's time to start looking at this thing with some seriousness, guys. I had mentioned, I think probably maybe a day ago, that I think things are going to start percolating a little bit, and in fact they have. Actually, right there, there was a little bit of a, I wouldn't call that a little, 26.76% bump. Bumped up against a very strong trend line, fell back down underneath it, but it's enough to kind of see. You can look at these potential statistical runs are way up here. Now these are not hard calls; these are statistical probabilities. But you know, that's let's see. Let's go ahead and just mark it here. You're looking at, holy smokes, 275% return with 50% of that being half. Um, that's it's starting to give off signals that this thing is going to start waking up. My thesis on this, or my feeling on this, or my position on this is crypto.com survived very well, better than I even thought it would. When the SBF debacle happened, Sam Bankman-Fried debacle, I kind of wondered to myself out loud during these live streams, let's see, because the founder of crypto.com knew SBF, and I thought, oh, I'm waiting for the filth to get on him and take down crypto.com. And I watched and I watched and I watched, and it took a little dip because everything took a little dip. And I thought, when you gonna get it? When you gonna get it? When you gonna get it? And it just never did. And all of a sudden, when's the last time you heard anything mentioned about Sam Bankman-Fried? He's just in the news now. He's no longer talking about it. So when you get out of the news cycle, things are good. And so crypto.com weathered that really well, all things being equal. Now, again, it's not a top exchange compared to something like a Binance or whatever, but I hang my hat on the fact that ain't no one of them's got name recognition like that. It ain't going away. Uh, I believe, again, their big claim to fame or their big killer app is the fact they have a phone trading app. Where Coinbase kind of does, kind of doesn't. That's what these guys do. And most, if experience with this group is anything, most of this group watches me, listens to me, trades against my better advice off of their phone. This thing's custom made for that group. So I think that this thing has nothing but upshot on it. And even though the rest of the market's going to be kind of going poop here pretty soon, I do still see the down here into the 3.5, 3.75% range, right in this general range when everything starts to fall. Worst case scenario down here to the 007. But I think we have another thing here we should probably be discussing, and this is kind of an old form out of our history here. Anybody know what that is? I know a lot of you do. I'll just let you say it. Clue. That looks to me like a sleeper. A little prolonged sleeper. And what's going to likely end up happening? Yep, sleeper hiccup. Not the standard hiccup that you would see. Normally a hiccup will be like, you'll get 2-3 days like that, and you'll get. But to me, that's the earmarkings of a sleeper because you can't deny the fact that this thing has hit a level where it just does not want to go below. If you look at the rest of the market, the rest of the market is just kind of down, down, down in steps. But this goes down, goes back up, hits the same level, rides sideways. So we're in a sideways pattern of this green box here that's been holding ever since November of last year. Um, that's a pretty long run, and it's a long run of about, let's say, give or take, half a year. So if that were to be the case, I think in short order here, all things being equal, we're probably going to see the bottom of this green box, but I think we're ready for a breakout. So what I'm suggesting to you, I don't recommend, you guys know that, but what I'm suggesting is you probably entertain the idea of if we get down here to a nickel, which I've been talking about for a good long time. Hang on, I got another sneeze here. If it gets down to a nickel here, I would strongly suggest you entertain the idea of a safety buy because I have a feeling that you might see something from it. If not, it'll be a pretty short period of time, certainly inside of this year before this turns around and starts to go up. So I have not exposed myself to this just yet, but when it gets down to that range, I think I'll be doing the same. I've been telling you guys nickel or less for a good long time, and we're within barking distance, so we're not that far away. And here's another one. Ping right to the line, right to the predictor, right there. So we're still on our way to the bottom here. I would probably estimate that this is not going to be too long before we're going to be down in this area here, basically on this ghosty white line here. Go ahead and watch this for a little while. 0.002. It'd been a good long time since I bought. I've got a lot of it at a much higher price before everything just started to melt down. I bought clear up here. I've been holding it just because it's just kind of this is back when gas fees were actually somewhat sane. It made sense back then to be buying at that price, but now we're just ridiculously lower. And I don't have like a king's ransom in this. I've got a pretty goodly amount, but I wouldn't be at all dissuaded if we fell down here into these lower ranges. And I do think that Reef will go a lot lower because ERC20 coins are hard to get into and out of and stuff like that. So people aren't as active a trader in the ERCs. If we get down here to the dual AI line, and I do think we will, if we get down here into this general range right here, I think it's kitchen sink time. This is worst case, best case scenario, but I think generally at about 0.001 and a half or 1/3, it's probably time to really, really nut up, I guess you could say. And if I did that, that would really, really lower my donut line for this thing completely down here. But at these prices, when fractions of a penny, why wouldn't you? The active call, the active upper end of this, still $3.36. I'm still looking at it right here on my screen to my left. So, um, not not a sucker bet. It's been a while since I really looked this one here. I want to see what this thing is rated. It's a top 500 coin, guys. Barely past being a top 400 coin. So pretty safe bet. You get a top 500 coin for fractions of a penny. Um, kind of hard to get hurt. When things turn around, it's kind of hard to get hurt. What else you want to see here while I'm just pecking around? I talked about Matic. I'll pull a few here. This one I definitely want to talk about. Got that covered. Got that covered. Phantom hash graph. Pretty much did it here, huh? How long we been at it here? Been online for how long? Well, we're not at the 14-hour mark yet, are we? How long have I been going for? I don't know if I got my moderators who are watching. Telcoin. Yeah, I do want to talk about Telcoin. That was a Red Bear favorite. See, God, I moved it. I demoted it down here to the bottom. I can't remember where Telcoin's at. Let me see if I can find it. If anybody sees it, tell me here. I can't. Chase reorganized all my stuff. I think it's over here on the left, if I remember right. There we are. All right. It might be time to start considering Telcoin. Um, I believe Red Bear had a Red Bear expose on this, talking about it. I noticed it the other day, and I showed the resistance line here, and we dipped below it. So now we are in an area that's very, very interesting. Where would I buy? Well, we've already got, strong buy recommendation at 0.0015, right in that range. Everything else is going to hell in a handbasket, so this too shall follow. So it's not really that much of a drop to get to there. But I would say your general buy range is going to be right in that area right there. If you want a hard safety buy right there, understand that once we come under this, we bounce. We're gonna be trapped underneath this, and it's gonna be a while before we get out from underneath that there. So understand that it's not gonna bounce and then just do one of them numbers. Highly unlikely. Telcoin's got some good stuff going for it, but again, I was really just not on board with it for a while because I don't know what caused this. There was some new news that came out, but that was a surprise to me. But to see that it finally is turning around and dropping back down where it belongs, I would suggest a safety buy here just to be on the safe side because you got support and resistance right here. But ultimately, this dual AI line here, I think, is what's going to catch it. We could very well probably go to our double bottom. Let's just go ahead and do this here. Our double bottom is going to be right there. But if we pierce below this, it's on. I would seriously sink whatever amount you think you need to put into Telcoin. Your absolute start buying the hell out of it line is right there at that blue line. But I would probably do a pretty strong safety buy at this general zone right here. What'd you buy it at? He said he took an L mine. Please don't tell me about it, Clear, up here. Was that you, Clear? Oh my God. Oh God. It just keeps going and going. Oh my God. Please tell me you weren't Clear up here. Holy crap. Six. Ultimate high, 6.5 cents. Did you buy it for 6.5 cents? Wow. Yeah, percent wise, I just got to look just because I got to. So from there to there. Well, that's not right. Hold on. Ooh, 4,500%. What'd you pay for it? You don't want to tell the group. If you don't want to tell them, you don't have to. But yeah, I'll tell you. I'm going to make the assumption you probably bought, probably somewhere in this general area. It's gonna be a while. I I don't know enough about this coin to tell you. Hi Josie, how you doing? You got a lot of catch up to do. I'm not gonna go back and recap. You're just in time. I'm gonna do your Matic for you though. By the way, Josie's our Matic girl, so I threw that. I thought you were already in here, so you're showing up just in time for your coin, and then you can leave. How's that? All right. So anyway, there's money to be made here when things go on the upswing, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I see this happening immediately. Um, I'm going to have to see some news to really feel good about that. But I think there's money to be made here at some juncture in time. Not quite yet, though. All right, so let's do Josie's Matic. So Matic is, again, not really surprising me. I see it going down. I saw it going down here about last week. Uh, Again, Matic is just not one of those that moves as violently as everything else, and it's just been in kind of a roll range. Yeah, that was at the top of the show. I did Pepe coin. So I'm looking at it off screen right now. And there's just nothing impressive to say about it. But anyway, Matic, let's take that off of there. So we're basically just ping along here. We're ready to start falling down here. So 7.5 cents is incoming soon, soon. Uh, 6 cents, not that much longer behind it, and ultimately probably 5 cents. Let me pull this here. I want to see the percentages. Percent to the bottom. Yeah, to get down to about 5.5 cents in the next 2 or 3 weeks, probably likely going to happen. All right, what else? Oh, Sushi. This is one of those that I tend to kind of just pick a few coins that I just like to just talk about on Twitter. And Sushi is one of those. I said, one, two, three, four, five tests on this, guys. We're going down. And down we're going. And you can kind of see right now how a lot of confetti here. We're turning down super hard. And we dove literally like a day after I said we're going down. And this is going to continue to go down. And I'm not going to be at all surprised that we're going to hit that target marker there at 5. Now, if when we get down to this line, here's one of those little golden nuggets that you guys show up for here on this. Let me show you a little thing here. Um, when we fall, which won't be this week, but when we fall down to this dual AI line, you really should entertain the idea, because this is just a volatile, bouncy little MFer, that there's very few coins that you can actually swing trade in this crap excuse for a market that you can generally feel pretty good about. This is one. If you hit the dual AI line at about, let's just go ahead and give you a price, 5.5 cents. 5.5 cents, lock it, load it, get in, sit back and wait, because I have a very strong feeling that it's going to hit this, bounce up, and it's going to reject off of this trend line. So right now, basically, you're looking at an area right there. That's where your business is going to be done. So once we strike bottom on that, you can expect to have to bail out on that trend line. So just kind of giving a generalized, there's an awful lot of percentage there. 72%, over here 55%, over here 45. So if we bounce off the bottom of that and work our way back up to the top, you could be looking at anywhere from 35 to 65% realistically. So inside of that triangle is where you want to be tossing your money in, right here on the dual AI line at a nickel and a half. I'll go into that. I looked at algo. I didn't think it was sexy enough to talk about, but yeah, there is actually something to talk about. Algo is just kind of the little engine that could. It just doesn't, again, do that much. There's a double bottom there. Boom, boom. We hit right on the resistance. Oh, that is something to talk about. So we have wicked into the hard resistance area. I guess we did talk about this on another video that I did. We're walking right across the top of that. Our next candle is quite indecisive about what it wants to do. And we're very, very meager in our start of our next red belly, but we are spreading to the downside. Everything's kind of not looking too positive here in all the lower indicators. And to look at the upper indicators, right. Well, you're 2 for 2. You gotta watch, man. You just the patience thing, you know how I feel about patience. It's not an at all exciting topic, but I'm trying to show you guys this stuff. Honestly, if anything I've shown you tonight that I would probably encourage you to maybe entertain would probably be the last coin I just talked about. Would probably be Sushi Swap. Anything else, it's you're in wait mode on. Sushi Swap is one that just moves, doesn't really give a crap what the rest of the market's doing. It just moves. And the reason why I think so is because there's a YouTuber that talks about it an awful lot, and they leverage trade the snot out of that thing. And I think it's them that's moving it like that. So if that happens, God bless them. If they're creating the action for us, we can chime in on it too. But I wouldn't suggest anybody leverage. I just think it's a very stupid thing to do, especially in a down market. But anyway, we're walking across the top of this thing here. The statistics are showing upwards, but I don't agree with that because the dragon is spreading super, super. So it's not looking like it's going to start turning around until the end of June for these upper level prices. So we're going to be in the resistance area. As I told you on the last video, if we fall into this resistance area, we're going to be playing, between this ISIS line and the top of this for a good amount of time before we fall to the second lower tier of that. My eyes are so itchy, it's crazy. I don't think they grow wheat here, but whatever it is, it makes my eyes itch. It's just insane. All right, what is the other one? Algo and VAT. Go back to the top here. I looked at VeChain the other day. That was one that Chase has a bunch of VeChain at a higher price. I don't think this is one that you'll ever get hurt on if you can just have a little bit of patience on it. But again, this ERC20 coin, if I remember correctly, I can't. If you guys, by the way, here's a little tip, a little pro tip to you guys. If you ever want to know if a coin is an ERC coin, just do this. You pros that use Platinum Pro here, just click on the research, but just go to CoinGecko and look right here and see what the wallet is. It'll always tell you if it's like let me show you contrasting. CoinGecko is probably this is an ERC coin, I believe that is too. If you click on research, you can look and see. You can always see that it'll show you the MetaMask wallet and an Etherscan blockchain. So if you see Etherscan, if you see this, basically, you know that you're dealing with an ERC20 coin. Sometimes good to know because you get yourself all hyped up to buy something, you realize you're going to be paying half of it in gas. It may not be as cool as you think. Again, VeChain is not. I thought it was, but no, that's right. They've got their own chains like VThor. That's right. We do track VThor. I barely ever pay attention to that, but it's got its own little ecosystem. So, all right, since ranked at number 39, I'm surprised I didn't realize it was that high. But meanwhile, still getting its butt kicked like everything else. There hasn't really been any new news out on VeChain recently. There hasn't been any new partners since DHL that I've really been noticing. So the long story short is we're heading our way back down here to another touch off on this resistance line here, and basically making our way down to the bottom to the dual AI line at 50%. So penny and a half, she's a coming, she's a coming. So that would be giving us basically that. I guess you could more or less you could kind of say so. Right in this general area is basically where I would expect that to probably touch off on next. Let's see what else. What else? Anything else? Call them out if you want to know. Let me know. This one, by the way, fell off. So Populous was a swing coin that was always kind of fun to check in on. They just totally delisted it to the point where there's not even charts on it anymore. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Do Casper. I know a few of you guys got Casper. Yeah, well, I wasn't even looking. Casper. There we go. All right, so there's all your tests, and we finally broke out. Now support becomes resistant, or resistance becomes support. So back down on this. Now, I basically what I'm going to tell you on this is we've established kind of a new breakout high, or a new breakout pattern. So we're past that at this juncture in time. And let me get my chalk out here. So I would look to see that dotted blue line or this yellow line I'm making right here as your overall last case drop in the short term, but you've got a trend line here that we're inside of. So that's basically what you're working with is you're basically working right inside of that trend right there. Which that's not exactly, but right inside of that trend there. So it's likely looking at we're still on the downturn here just a little bit. Let me get that stuff out of here real quick. Hold on. Yeah, we still have a little bit more downturn to go here. It's very possible we could end up right about there at 4.5 cents. So I have not yet kind of sunk my teeth into really learning about Casper, but there's a lot of people that are kind of in the know that tend to believe that this thing is definitely going to be one to watch. On let me look and see here. I did want to kind of look. I don't often do this, but Casper's ranked number 78. It's kind of low, but doesn't mean it'll go there and stay there. But anyway, my point is there's like a lot of people that are talking about it on YouTube, respectable people that are talking about it on YouTube, saying that this thing could come out of nowhere and surprise some people. Unlike Cardano, which isn't surprising me. I showed what's going, and it's still going. So if you're holding this, sorry, going down. All right. Is anybody trading this thing? I threw it up just because it seemed amusing. I hadn't really done anything with it. I just figured I wanted some more meme coins to kind of represent. But I had looked. Let's go back in here real quick. Hold on just a second. Silver Theta, I'll answer you when I get done with live stream here. if you go into, let's see, if you go into charts and forecasting, this is the free section. You will get, Anubis will post market views and stuff like that. And occasionally we'll get where the hell is it at here? Might be in here. It's in one of the others. It tells you like today's winners and today's losers. If I remember correctly, this might not be the correct room, but Baby Doge was popping up as like a #1 winner there for a while. I assume it was probably this run up right here, but Baby Doge was really on a rip for a while, so I kind of started to pay a little bit more attention to it. But generally speaking, let's be honest, it's nothing the world needs. It's just a copy of a copy of a copy. Yeah, I talked about XRP and XLM at the top of the show, so just rewind me. I'm almost done here. So yeah, okay, thank you, Fish. Hot wash. Yeah, so let's not trying to turn this into a commercial or anything, but hang on just a second here. See if I can find it. I do want to show this to you. So you guys that are subscribed to Platinum and up, you get Hot Watch Lite, which covers like the top 5 coins plus some trade stuff that I'm doing. If I can find, let's see here. There we go. And by the way, if you guys want to subscribe to Hot Watch and just you don't know anything about charts or whatever, just go here to server subscriptions. Lite is only $35 a month, and you can find out what I'm doing and whatever. If you want to know every coin's moving, when it hits key critical, this is a cheap investment, just to kind of stay on top of what's going on. If you don't know how to track charts or whatever, we'll teach you and learn. If you want to come into the group, we'll teach you how to do that and get the most use out of it, so you can understand what I'm talking about. But if you just want to copy the teacher and see what I'm doing and whatever, this is a good way to do it too. And the two things together actually make a lot of sense. But the rooms themselves, if you get this, then you get this. But if you subscribe to this, you get pretty much the whole thing. Lite basically covers Bitcoin, XLM, XRP. Um, I can't remember what all else, but there's basically about 5 major coins that it covers. But anyway, if I can find the damn room here, there we go. Hot Watch Lite. What you get Hot Watch Lite room is you get the daily winners, so you know what's a loser. And the way you would play this, obviously, is you look at the losers and you get over there and look at the chart and go, man, is this something I need to be buying since everything's getting its butt kicked? And Baby Doge, Pepe, obviously you can see 124.88%, but this is telling you every single day what's going on. And occasionally, when a target will hit, I'll pop in with something that shows you. I'll show you, when you should be moving, when I bought or sell. Been a while since I've done any buys or sells or anything like that, but on Hot Watch itself actually gives you an awful lot more. Hot Watch Prime gives you a lot more stuff. It gives you all the we talked about Telcoin just recently. As a matter of fact, I had mentioned Telcoin, but you get charts and you get all the stuff that I'm doing and alerts when it's time to, possibly buy, catch a swing and stuff like that. So Hot Watch versus Hot Watch Lite is quite a bit of an upgrade. So, okay. So anyway, all right. So we pretty much got everything knocked out here. Let's see if there's anything I missed. I don't think so. We'll throw this on here just because. Just round out the, this is not surprising to me. We'll be down here into the dual AI line before very long. IOTA is just never a thing that it's just not something that a lot of people are trading because it means that much to anyone just yet. It will when ISO gets fully developed and comes online. Everything in the collection of ISO coins will mean something. But for right now, still good. Oh, there is one that I wanted to do. I'm picturing somebody out there somebody's thinking about this, and I just apparently tuned into you. I guess I don't often do that, but somebody was wanting to know about Ocean, and I just kind of got a vibe from somebody. So one of you is thinking out loud too loud, and I just picked up on you. This is one that I just, for whatever reason, I just never am focused on this. I'm always kicking myself that damn, I should have been paying more attention to Ocean. When this thing goes down to this green line, guys, really take this thing seriously because I think that at that point in time, it'll be ready for a turnaround. We've had a good long run and then we had a kick up, but when it'll be a slow fade. But when it gets down to the green box here and gets inside the green box, we do have a lower call. But when it gets down here, start safety buying this thing at about a penny and a half, or well, I guess that'd be about 10 cents, at about roughly 10 and a half cents, 15 cents. start safety buying it, because this is again another one that got legs on it. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to get wiped out. It's a 215 rank coin, and it's ERC20 coin, yes. So these are the ones we buy for long-term holdership. So we make sure you got some gas for it. Make sure that, when you buy it, you store it somewhere. You're not trying to flip it or flop it or trade it or whatever. You're buying it because you want it. Dent is the same way. It's an ERC20 coin. I when Lenny joined and gave me this at 25 bucks, I sold it at 80, times however many of those damn things he gave me. So that's something you can justify flipping an ERC, but you don't do it for a penny here and a dollar there. It's just not worth it, especially on a lower level stuff. So, all right, gang. So there's your cryptotherapy. There's your treehouse for the time being. You're all up to date on the stories. Thank you very much for being a part of what I do. And again, if you guys are new on the live stream, please, now's the time. Join us over at theunfairadvantage.chat. Until next time, my name is Red Baron. Peace and hair grease, baby.